Hello, everyone, and welcome to Twillow Talk. It is one of those days today.
I was just jamming the music.
How is everyone? How is everybody doing? Let's see here. We've got a comment here. Hello, Kaylee. Welcome.
Hello.
It's kind of a rainy, funny day here in Ottawa. Are you having that too, Jen? Where you are?
Yeah. Hopefully everybody's okay. No tornadoes have touched down.
Yeah, we haven't had any just here, but it has been. It's been weird, eh? Very strange.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the energies are really weird. We did have so we had a tornado warning here in Ottawa, and we also had an X-class solar storm. So let me just show you that. And I'm Tanis Coughlin, by the way.
Oh, right. We have to introduce ourselves.
We had to at least tell them our names. So I'm Tanis Coughlin from the Twillow Lifestyle Community, Twillow Lifestyle Academy, and I am joined by Jennifer Tchaikovsky.
Hi, everybody. It's been one of those days.
It really has, and it has been a few days since those. So, like Kaylee's saying, it's been one of those couple days. Been rough since Thursday. Yeah, it's been interesting. I'm finding trouble staying grounded, is what my thing is. So it's kind of weird.
I'd have to say, like today, it's interesting. Like the energies this morning, waking up, were weird.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that we had a shift in the transits, at least like on Eastern time, like just after midnight, we shifted into a new transit. So I think that maybe there is a piece of that, because part of our sleep would have been kind of conditioning us to this new energy. So, and yeah, the full moon, which we just had, like there's always so much going on. Whew.
It's true. Yeah, so we've definitely had some stuff. And so if we look in here, this would be our solar flares, which we take a look at. And we did have an X2 today. So that's fairly high in terms of the activity. And so that's pretty high. And the Schumann has been in around 50 today. Actually, let me just, I'll take a look at that. Maybe, let's remove that. I will take a look at the Schumann because I have that on my phone. And we can take a quick look at what the transits are like right now. Did you want to take a look at that?
Yeah,
we're still at 50.
We can totally do transits. So yeah, as of the wee hours, we moved into the gate 16, or the gene key 16. So this is it's enthusiasm, or the enthusiast. It's about skills and the skill for living. Life is an art. And the idea here when we talk about the gene keys is being able to move from indifference to mastery through bringing about that gift of versatility. And I have to say, like, Richard does a phenomenal talk. So anybody who's on the Gene Keys website or gets any of the kind of updates on when the transit shift from the Gene Keys, there's a link in that email of a talk that he does, really getting into what mastery actually is. And it's not what you think, right? Like we think of mastery and we think of this like, ability to master a thing, when ultimately it's about mastering ourselves. Right. And so, we get into this place of indifference when we look at these shadow aspects of ourselves and we deny them and we push them away, or we hold on to these kind of, as he calls them, like secrets within us, and we don't allow them to be known or embraced, even with ourselves. Right. Yeah. And then that becomes this kind of shell of indifference, because now all of a sudden, we're denying these aspects of ourselves and we're not allowing them to have their place within us, as opposed to being able to really master ourselves. And he talks about how that mastery is really about cracking open indifference. right? And that ability to come to terms with these secrets that we have inside of us. And it's such an important piece, because one of the quotes that he has in his book is actually from Elie Wiesel, who is a Holocaust survivor. And the quote is, the opposite of love is not hate, it's indifference. The opposite of art is not ugliness, it's indifference. The opposite of faith is not heresy, it's indifference. And the opposite of life is not death, it's indifference. Right? So really understanding the power of what that energy does to us, right? And noticing how, either of those other opposites that that were in that quote are better than being in that place of indifference, because it really is debilitating, and the victimhood of this is, a victim of our techniques. So it talks about, being either like influenced by what everybody else says, like that gullible energy, or being so self-deluded to think that like what we think is all there is, right? Because neither of those energies, they're about finding skills and things to navigate stuff, but they're not about being really present with what is, right? And as long as we get caught up in all of these other things, we're not sitting with our stuff. We're not working through it, and we're not allowing ourselves to navigate it. And so it's really cool, because when you think about this energy as the enthusiasm piece of it, or the skills for living, this idea of like life as art, as it is in the I Ching, it is this enthusiast energy, right? Can we be excited about life, whatever it's throwing at us? Right? And that's hard.
Yeah,
right?
Sure.
But if we're able to step away from that kind of indifference, because it's such a numbing energy when you really think about what it brings forward in our experience, right? If we're indifferent about everything, we're just numb, right? And that's
and I think that's been a bit of a byproduct, right, to some of the COVID stuff. In general, people kind of were like, they reverted so far inside that they're kind of like not really putting themselves out there in the same way as they were before. Yeah. So it becomes indifference. So, yeah, but we all go through times like that. I think that this is a great time to pull ourselves out of that, by the sounds of the transit. So,
well, and that's the thing, right? And so what's beautiful about this energy is that it's actually giving us, again, versatility, right? There's no one set way. The gift is versatility, right? Being able to really go, oh, look, and I do this with my clients all the time. Can we just go, oh, look, there is indifference. Oh, look, I'm numbing this. Oh, look, I'm pushing that down. Okay. Now what do I want to do?
Do I want to keep doing that? Maybe you do. Right? Maybe you want to do something different.
Yeah. And it's about giving ourselves the ability to do something different, right? And that's where that true mastery comes in. It's not that we're always, doing everything, whatever this perfect idea is. It's, am I really present with what's happening inside of me in this moment? Can I look at it? Can I be open to it? And can I make a decision about what I want to do with it? Right? And mastery really comes from being conscious about what we're doing.
Yeah. When I talk, it's interesting because mastery versus being a master are quite different in many ways, right? Mastery, you could have a mastery over something in terms of like a skill or modality or whatever. And but being a master of something is very different. Like being a master, sitting in that master energy is very much an archetypal energy. In my Reiki master classes, we talk about that, and we talk about all sort of the attributes of what it is to be a master. And they get homework, and it's usually it's usually about pick a master, someone who you think, and we've gone through all the qualities or whatever. Who do you think you see as a master after we've had this discussion? And I want you to write out, it's not a big one, less than a page of, what is that? Why do you feel they're a master? Right?
Yeah. Well, and it's so interesting too, right? Because the victimhood kind of mentality that comes with this is being a victim of technique, right? And so sometimes we look at this master, right? Because they got it down. They know the technique. They know what they're supposed to do. They know how they're supposed to use it, right? Which is very, very different than just having mastery and being able to ebb and flow with whatever's there and not getting so caught up in, right? It was interesting. So Tanis and I, before this, we're actually chatting, and I'm going to share this, Tanis, and you can be like, Jen, what the heck? But no, but we were talking about classes and all of the different classes and the things that we, that were being called to bring forward. And we were talking about the Celtic shamanic class. Yeah. And one of the things that I really appreciated that you said in that was, it's almost like, here I am, I'm giving this like grimoire of information, but it's not for them to do exactly what I do. It's for them to go and make it their own. And that's the difference between master and mastery. And I love that. I goosebumps. They agree. Like there is this kind of, there is this difference. It's like, it's, here are tools, but make them your own. Right. Yeah. And that's about really developing mastery as opposed to looking at something specific as this is the master. Right. And I really appreciated that. So I'm sharing it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think, and it's funny because I was talking to somebody about this the other day in terms of, maybe it was on last week. We were talking about like university versus college versus classes. Well, I know it was a conversation about last week. It wasn't last week's conversation on here. And we were talking about the fact that, in university, like it was a while ago now for me, and in all of that, like I took social sciences and leisure studies, sociology, that stuff. And do I remember anything? I remember very little from my university days, but it taught me how to think, and it taught me how to like synthesize knowledge, So that's the benefit of it. In terms of that, I think college is a nicer blend, actually, in terms of you learn how to study, you learn how to do those things, but there's also the practicality, like how-tos in doing this. So, there's nothing. I think all of the tools are really valuable in terms of schooling. Like workshops give you the very specific kind of, I need to know how to do whatever, Reiki, right? It gives you a very specific hands-on practical approach to something. And then college would be the in-between. It gives you all the theory and all the, around a topic, like a subject matter, as opposed to a specific topic. And then you get some of the practical stuff. And then university is like it's more, how do I want to put this? It's more like the subject matter itself, and you don't get a lot of the tools. You need to take the subject matter itself and synthesize it into your own methods. And so I guess kind of what I did with the Celtic shamanism is like sort of take it like this is your subject matter, like your overarching thing. Here's a couple of practical tools to help you implement it in this way, but I want you to take it and do this. So that's kind of, that's my approach with it. I hadn't actually thought about that before, but that's kind of what it does, right? When we think about the different types of schooling, and workshops and whatnot. Because you and I we talked about this last week with Nicole and how we're like, lifelong learners and stuff, and but the learning doesn't necessarily happen in a classroom either, right? Life learning is huge. So just as important.
That's it. And I love that, even in this gene key that we're talking about, right? Moving from indifference to mastery, it comes through the gift of versatility.
Right.
Right? It's not about being rigid in one specific thing, right? It really is that versatility that brings so much to our experience.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting, right? Like the programming partner for this, which I don't always talk about, but it's where the earth is right now. It's the gate 9. And the shadow aspect of that is inertia, right? So if you think about it, like indifference and inertia, right? They go really well together, because as soon as we become indifferent, we stop moving.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? But if we can bring in this gift of determination, well, now we can actually see, okay, what is the versatility that I have here? What are my options?
Yeah.
Where do I want to move from here? Right? And true mastery is, in line with the siddhi of invincibility. Right? If I am able to have mastery over myself, nothing's gonna be able to damage that or collapse that, or right? Like I can recognize, oh, there's my trigger. Yep. I'm feeling it right now. Right.
Yeah.
But I have choice and I have power. And that is an amazing thing.
When you said invincibility, of course, all I thought was superhero, right? That's what went through my head. So I was giggling. I'm like, a superhero. We can have capes. No. That's where my mind goes. So, but yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed. Hello, Hypnicity.
Hello,
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. So do we want to do a card today? Do we want to do a...
Yeah.
Let's pull out the deck. So here we go. This is the deck that we've been using, and we're about half... Oh, no, we're not halfway through this one. We're halfway through the other one.
Oh. I had a memory come up for me from 3 years old. My first memory of my dad crying was watching JFK's funeral. I thought something I had done made Dad cry. Oh. But that's how little ones think, right? They take it on themselves, especially empaths, right? Especially if it's something you don't see very often. A lot of men don't allow themselves to cry often, and so when it's a strange thing, we think, what have I done? What did I do that made this happen? I think it's a...
Well, and when we're that little, there's no differentiation really. Like we haven't really gone through that process of becoming our own entity from our parents. Right. So whatever is going on for them it's connected to us in how we see it and how we experience it. And so it's kind of incredible that you were given this memory now and able to see it for what it is, because that's a healing opportunity.
It is, for sure. I would encourage you to do some Ho'oponopono on that, to sort of release the energy around it and allow that to go, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't need to carry that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is an interesting topic. How does my body want to move today?
Oh. What about if it doesn't?
That's also part of it. Too.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Since my third eye open, these little nuggets are creeping in. Yeah. Yeah. And they are nuggets. I love that, because you're getting to see, these moments where maybe you've carried something since you were 3 years old.
Yeah.
Right. That can now be released. And so when we talk about release, it's interesting. So we were talking about somatic stuff earlier as well. And,
we covered a lot of topics in a short amount of
time. Today is such an interesting part of that, especially when these things are coming up. Right. And whether it's this kind of indifference, which is this numbing to our own emotional state, or memories that have, the ability to be reprocessed, the body's got to move, right? To get that energy out.
That's the same with me.
Mm-hmm.
My body's like, no, it's raining. and I don't want to move.
So moving doesn't necessarily mean going for a run or working out.
Well, no,
It could be something as simple as, I got to calm my nervous system. I'm going to do the basic exercise. It could be, you know what, right now, triple warmer really needs a hug. The spleen really needs to be, strengthened. And I'm just going to sit here and rock. Yeah. Right? Like there's so many things that could be. It doesn't have to be go for a run. Because I don't want to go for a run in a thunderstorm right now. I love
it's not a time to do that.
I'm not ready to go to Oz at the moment. So
we want you to stay here, grounded, Jen. We need you here. Oh, yes.
Burning. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's a lot of energy. That would be the solar flare. You usually tend to have that.
Yeah. This is where silver spoons. I think we've talked about this, like Kaylee specifically, but this is an energy medicine thing, and it's a really awesome trick. So anybody who has any silver spoons, okay, so an antique kind of spoon, because I know not lots made of silver today. And then let's see how flexible I can be.
She's got to get her foot up quite high.
So
there we go.
This part of the foot.
Right? You have it here, authentic feet.
I don't have my spoon down here, but you just rub the spoon part of the spoon, right?
Yes. Into
this part of the foot, right? And on both feet. And it is so incredibly grounding, right? Yeah. So if you can't get out on earth, it's a beautiful way to ground yourself and bring that energy in, especially when you're buzzing.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes the shoulders, if you do like the sweep, right, across your shoulders and push the energy off, sometimes that helps to get rid of some of the heaviness on the shoulders.
Yeah, I think today, it seems like today is going to be a tools day.
I think it might be, yeah. Well, because we got physical, right? They're asking about physical, so it is the topic for the day.
So here, I'll finish reading the card and then remind me to do the tie pull. Okay, so when we move, we change our state and raise our vibration. This new elevated state becomes a channel for more energy. Are you moving your body daily? Are you passionate about it? It is time to try something new. So today's soul action, how does your body want to move today? Listen and joyfully do.
Right.
Okay. So if you're feeling it, and I can feel it now that it's said, it's so heavy right in here and all through here. So I'm feeling into it. So we're going to do some healing together and hopefully that does some good clearing.
Let's say a quick hello to Carla first. Hi, Carla.
Hello.
Kaylee's grabbing her spoon. Hypnocity just ordered reflexology socks. Oh, I bet those would be interesting.
Mm-hmm. You came in on the
I know. It was about putting a silver spoon on her foot, rubbing it on the bottom, like in the grounding. For grounding.
Yeah, it's a great grounding exercise.
So we've got we have a soundtrack for today.
Right, don't get me started on singing. Oh, it never ends. You can ask Tanis.
We can go on quite a while.
Everything becomes a song. Okay.
She did that one weekend. I think we had 100 and some. We had to decipher what she was trying to say to us because she was answering us in song.
Oh gosh,
fun,
don't go there, Kaylee, because that will be stuck in my head forever. No.
I'm not even putting that up on the screen.
Okay, tie pull. Okay, so we're gonna reach across our neck. Okay, and we're just gonna pull that energy. Pull. And then we're going to bring it right down and off the hand. And then we're going to pull it across from the other side. Pull. Down and off. Whew. Okay. You want to do that like 3 times, and it's like already the tension is like,
Yeah.
shoulders
It
are
really
dropping,
helps.
right? So this is an amazing one, and you can do, there's the tie pull and then the belt pull. So the tie is around the neck, right? And then the belt is around the waist. And I think I've done that one for you guys when you've been up before. The waist one and then down the leg, and it's...
Well, and the other thing for the shoulders and neck is the kinesiology one, right? Where you take your ears and both sides at the same time, okay? And you're going to unroll the ears in 4 different places. Before you do it, guys, move your head one side to the other. See how far you can go. And then do this. And then you're going to unroll the ears 4 different places 4 times.
Yeah, this is a fantastic one too. And then
I lose my headset.
Drink water.
Yes.
Because any work that you do on the body, energetically, water carries energy, right? So you want to be able to bring that healing that you're doing and kind of solidify it in the body, and water is the easiest way to do that.
Yeah. And I don't know if you guys have seen these bottles, but these are pretty cool. Let me see here. There we go. So for grounding, we got red jasper in there. You could use a darker one too. And it's an indirect method of putting the energy into your water. So that one's safe for any type of crystal. So those are kind of fun to use too for that kind of thing.
I love it. Yeah.
I'm not sure which one you do, but
this one would be the easiest one to do at a light.
That's true.
My guess.
Yeah. Where do you get those? The bottles? I think, I don't know. I got gifted it, but I've seen them in lots of places. Check out Amazon. They're probably on there.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. There are some crystals you can put right in the water, but really for the most part, you have to be really careful about what crystals you're putting right in the water. So that's why I bring that up, because it's a safe way to do the energy transfer from the crystals into the water.
Yeah, because there's a shelf in the in-between. So
they don't actually touch. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but you see there's glass in here. So they don't touch.
And that way you can put all kinds of stuff in there and be good to go.
I suppose, the witchy in me is looking at it thinking I could probably put some herbs in there mixed in with it too. And get the energy from the herbs. So that would be kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, and this is where like flower essences and stuff like the Bach flower remedies and all are fantastic too, because they are tinctures. They're made to be actually taken, right? And so they're fantastic.
Well, I do a class on the crystal elixirs, essences and elixirs, which is a way to make the same thing as the Bach flowers, but with crystals. So it's a lot of fun when you get into playing with those things. Yeah. Lots of healing.
So much. So much.
It's so funny because Jen and I did have a chat before, and we were talking about all the schooling, but we were also talking about all the different types of like modalities and healing and how we bring them in, and we end up switching, like, oh, what's that book you're reading? Oh, I'm reading this one. I need to order that one. And we swap stuff all the time. Swap ideas and whatnot. Yeah, that's
it's such a beautiful thing, right? Because we have all of these different tools and we all have our own toolboxes, and yet we share them, right? And then as we share them, it's like, cool, like this is great because now I'm just building my toolbox and I love it, right?
Well, the other thing about that is that, the cool thing about for the Twillow Lifestyle Academy, right? All the teachers, all of you have Reiki as a base. It just happened that way. It wasn't planned, but you all have Reiki as a base. And so when we talk, we have a shared understanding, right? It brings in the same vocabulary to the
Mhm.
conversation. So you're able to sort of, it's a shared vocabulary to use when you're interacting, and then you can bring in other vocabularies, and it's like you're switching sort of. Oh, so like in Reiki, when we do this one, it's called this. You know what I mean? So you can it helps you to bring in the other modalities for each other in that way.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. So we've got some stuff here. Awesome.
Oh, very cool.
Very good. And we've got Annie. Hi.
Hello. Thanks for stopping in.
Oh, good. Yeah, Green Spirit has some of those. Good.
Very cool.
Green Spirit. If you're in Ottawa, Manitic's just outside. And, great store if you haven't been out there. They have excellent energy in there. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, very cool. So what about you guys? What do you do? What are some tools that you use? How do you move the body? Is there anything that's worked for you? Is there anything that hasn't worked for you? You know,
It'll be worth the trip, Kaylee. It's a really cute store. I love Manitic too. It's a nice little I was going to say town, but I guess it's becoming more of a city, but it's still got that small town feel to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
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 Cleaning dance party. Yes.
Yeah.
We must have music to clean.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it is a necessity.
Well,
Indeed.
just dancing. I mean, there is so much power in just movement, right? Yeah. And how we move. And again, it's that like inertia, right? Versus being able to, you know, actually change the energy up, right? And break it up and all of that. And so it's, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So it's kind of funny. So we do our weekends where we do, it's like our professional development kind of weekends. And at least that's what I'm going to call them. Three of us go away and we talk business, and then we do all sorts of other crazy stuff. So sometimes we end up dancing. So we've done on our weekends, we've done like, what do you call it? Belly dancing. We learned the line dance that was popular at the time, the in dance. I don't even remember the name of it.
Right.
Yeah. Remember that one?
I remember the dance. I don't remember what it was called.
Yeah, I don't either. And then there was then we do yoga as well, usually a little bit of yoga in it to move our bodies that way. So, oh dear. Soaking in the rain, stand and move in the pouring rain. Yeah.
I love going out in the rain.
Cleansing.
So it's okay. So water in and of itself is probably the most amazing cleansing that we can have. And rain, like there's just something about that torrential downpour. I mean, a little bit of rain is great too, but there's just something about being dripping wet, right? That is just incredible energy. I would take the kids. So whenever we would have massive like downfalls, the kids would always get so excited because they knew run and get on like shorts and a t-shirt or whatever you can go puddle jumping with and get outside and get soaked. Yeah. And we would. And it didn't matter what was happening, if they were fighting, if there was something, like the moment that downpour started, they were ready to get out into the water. And it was just, it's always been such a beautiful cleansing experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's funny. We're talking about cleansing. This week, of course, it's been a busy week. And there was one day where I was like, I need to cleanse. And I used all 4 elements in my cleansing. And I did it actually kind of without realizing it until after I had done it. And I thought, that's pretty cool. So when I'm doing a thorough cleanse, that's what I need to do. So I did the smudging. Mm-hmm. So that was air. And then I had also used a crystal to sort of sweep myself, right? Because black kyanite is really great for that. And then I had gone out and got in water. and it was sunny. And so I sat out in the sun, right? So the sun would be like fire, water, water. And so I realized that I had done this and used all 4 elements, which is all about alchemy, right? We use all 4 elements to create a change. And I was like, oh, look what I did. And I didn't even realize it.
Love it.
So something to keep in mind, though, right? You can incorporate all 4 elements into your clearing practices and that kind of thing, or you light a candle, right? And even feel the energy if it's not sunny, right? You can do that sort of thing. Feel the energy of light, that sort of thing. Yeah. Anyway, it was fun.
I love it.
So we had a couple of other things.
I think about my puddle jumping experience in that way too, because water, you're earthing as you're jumping in puddles.
Yeah.
You're starting to sweat, so you're building that fire and you're taking deep breaths.
Yeah, exactly. But when we do it consciously, if we do it unconsciously, we're not bringing the elements in. But when we actually consciously think about those things, that's when we start to really make life magical, right?
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it.
It's huge downpour. Yeah. Hi, Estella.
Hello.
My
mother-in-law swore could find I love it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Hi, Liz. How you doing? Oh dear, we're having some pain.
Oh no.
Any suggestions? Sacral pain. Sacral. So using your carnelian in terms of crystals would be one to work with. Yeah, that's what they're really bringing forth. You could use like a honey calcite. My eye is being drawn to that on my desk, which is why I'm saying that. And or orange calcite. Ground and breathe. Yep, that's always a good one. Anytime there's pain, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Ah, good. Thank you, Annie. Yeah, child's pose from yoga. That's good for that. And maybe corpse pose, so maybe back and forth. So you're kind of stretching the area a little bit gently.
Yeah. Well, and whatever's coming up for that, for you, even doing some release, like we're talking about elements, bringing in some burning, right? Whether it's going to be to sage or incense, or if there's something that you're conscious of, maybe writing it down and doing a little burning.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Moonstone for the feminine energies. Lower back, carnelian, calto, and what? Try child's pose. Yeah. Carnelian. Carnelian. How do we spell that? Of course, you're putting me on the spot. Carnelian. That's what happens when you come on live, right? Carnelian. Carnelian. It's orange. Do I have such a thing here? I usually do, but I don't want to make a big racket looking for them because my desk is like that. I don't have any easy to find, but it's an orange crystal. So, yes, thank you, Carla. There you go. Thank you. Yeah, so orange calcite. I love that one. It's like, it looks like a piece of an orange.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
There's also, we're talking about moving the body, right? And so I think the child's pose one is really good. Being able to do even like the heaven to earth stretches, right? Where you put one down and one up, and then switch it, and one down, one up, right?
Connecting.
Switch, and then just keep doing that connection piece, right? Because now you're going to be stretching that lower back but side to side, which is really powerful, right?
Citrine. Yeah, that's a little higher up than sacral, but it's still it's a great one for that too. Because I have a feeling it's kind of the sacral and the solar plexus, because I was kind of getting citrine and the honey was standing out for me, which would be really a combination.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
somatic stretching. That was kind of what Jen was talking about. The other thing I would recommend is thinking about what topics come up to you as well, in terms of if you sit and meditate and ask your body, what do you need? What's
Mm-hmm.
bothering you? Because sometimes we're holding on to something and we're sore because of the resistance to release. So if you can tap into what it is you're holding on to, then it's easier to kind of release it and go forward. So yeah, it's definitely an emotional area for sure.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, of course, that's that area too, right? A bunch of us were chatting this morning about experiencing period cramps, contraction type pain over the weekend. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and knowing
Doing great, Liz. You're doing great.
about I know we talked about it a little bit in the other one, but
Yes.
right.
Heal your body.
So let's just see what the back has to say. I know it's often with support for different things, but it's lower back specifically.
There we go. That's a great one too. Yeah. Thanks, Carla.
Mm-hmm.
Setting the intention before you sleep to get answers.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. So a lot to do with supply, right? Sometimes it could do with your money or lack of support financially. And so, I trust the process of life. All I need is always taken care of. I am safe. Right. And I know for me, back has always been support of some kind.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And
Indeed.
so when it flares, there is that kind of lack feeling in some way of support. Right. So really being able to honor that, right, and to give yourself one support so that you can rest and do what you need to do to take care of it, but also bringing in these mantras of like, I am safe, I am supported, everything that I need is provided for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And know that you are cared for.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you could call on Archangel Michael, call on Archangel Raphael. He's the Archangel of Healing. Both of those would be good. Big hello to Brenda. Hey, Brenda.
Hello.
So yeah, calling in your guides is a great way to do it too. And if something comes up, because it's about lack, you could also be focused on gratitude. That might help to shift you, right? It's from the lack mindset to abundant mindset.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Honey and boiled milk.
Ooh.
It sounds yummy, but it depends on whether they're lactose intolerant or not, because that might not be such a great one if they're lactose intolerant.
But if you're not,
it's yummy.
With a
I used
little
to
bit
have
of
that as a
vanilla
kid.
in there, my mom would give me that and I'd crash out as a kid.
Yeah, I used to love it too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. That's good.
Yay.
We're happy to help, Liz.
Mm-hmm. That's the joy. I love you guys.
Awesome.
I love that there's just like so
fun.
many ideas and ways to try different things that work and have, worked for others. And it's a pretty beautiful thing.
It is. It is. Indeed. Yeah. There's something niggling at me that's probably going to try and come through, but it hasn't yet. Yeah. Focus on the lesson.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
that's why doing that internal work, like to figure out what it is you're resisting or what's coming up for you that needs to be released, those kind of things.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting, right? Because again, I come back to the energy that we're we're in, right? And this idea of indifference and what that really means for us. And if there is a part of us that we're not wanting to face, or if there is something coming up, the body, it is going to express it in some way.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think that everything that the body shows us is a message that's worth noticing. Like I notice it, like even as I'm talking, I'm like, oh wow, look, like hold on, okay, what's coming up for me right there?
What is
right?
this? It's in my
Is
shoulders.
this like,
What am I holding on to?
and so noticing kind of where you're at and what's coming up, and and what it means for you. Right? It's so funny, like what's coming up. Okay, so I'm just going to share because raw, real, it is what it is, right? I share these things that come through, and sometimes there's a the computer likes it. Sometimes there's a part of me that goes like, what are you doing? You don't know. What are you doing? What's going on?
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Like, one, I'm just sharing from my experience. And two,
Right.
like I'm bringing through, and if it doesn't resonate, let it go.
Don't use it.
Like
Yeah.
I don't have to hold that. Right. But again, that noticing like, oh, look what just happened to me there. So anyway, like that's exactly what we're talking about, is being able to be in that place of like, oh, look what just happened. That is so fascinating. Okay, body. Okay. We're going to release. And again, I move the body a lot, right? So I'm constantly like, okay, let's release that energy. Okay, right? We're going to do the dump for the releasing the venom, for the negative energy.
And we're doing the building.
And I'm constantly in movement, and you'll notice that I get, sometimes it's even under the screen or whatever, but there's always this movement happening. And so there's such a beautiful thing with that, and in being able to move that energy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Big hello to Jen. Hey, Jen.
Hello.
Yeah, I mean, I do think since we've talked about this stuff, we should mention, these are just suggestions. They're not to be used instead of medical advice. So, if it's not easing, Liz, I would, still suggest you see your medical provider, right?
We need
medical
Gerald's little, I need to write little things like him, right? Like this is not, don't take this as like.
For entertainment purposes only, yeah.
Shout out to you, Gerald, wherever you are.
Yeah, exactly. I think he's on vacation this week. So yes, that's definitely something to remember. And what works for one person may not work for another. So that's the beauty of community, is bringing in all of the different things that work for everybody. And then you try them, as long as they're not going to hurt you, right? Depending on what your allergies are and body. And so check in with your body and see, does this resonate with me?
Yeah. Right? So doing energy checks is another really good use of the body.
There was one that I was doing for a while with, because I was doing more work with essential oils than I am now. But you put something in one hand and you hold the other one, you hold it out. And then if I can push it down, then it's not for you. And if it's nice and strong, then that's the one to use, Yeah. So that's kind of cool to do too. But you need two people for that. It's harder to do it on your own.
Yeah, when I first learned about it, it was similar to that, but like I would have, like like an herbal remedy or like a vitamin or whatever, right? And you would hold it here and then put your arm out and test it that way. And what we did is we tested it with a big pitcher of water. So if you're by yourself, right, can I lift that pitcher of water up? No problem. And if I can't, that's a problem, right? Like then that's probably not for me.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, pitcher of water, that would work, because that is the strength of the muscle for sure. I like that. I might have to do that more. I also use my body as a pendulum. What's that?
Yeah, just being mindful that you're not using your muscle, right? Because your energy muscle and your biological muscle are two different things.
Yes. Indeed. Yeah. I often will use my body as a pendulum too. So I'll hold it and I'll be like, is this for me? And my body usually goes forward for yes and backwards for no.
Yes.
But always check, because everybody's different on that. So check your body before. show me yes, show me no, and see what your body does, and then hold it and go, is this for me? And then feel it. So it's just another way of checking in on your body.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. Thanks for the warning, Katie.
5-minute morning means, Jen, it's time to pick a card.
Time to pull from Seeds of the Sacred Feminine, which we are halfway through. And we did start it before the end of last year, and there are 52 cards. So it will not last us the whole year, but it should get us through a good chunk of it.
Well, we'll just have to find another one again, that's all.
Yeah. All right. Take a deep breath. That is also moving the body.
It is.
That is such a beautiful reminder that moving the body doesn't have to be a huge movement.
Yep.
Hey,
Very
you
good.
heard me calling you.
We just talked about you. Welcome, Gerald.
That call went out on many levels.
It did. You got the message. Yep,
it.
Perfect card for sure. Do the breathing, right?
Yeah, for sure. All right, here we go.
So what does it say?
Take a deep breath. I just have to. You have been holding your breath, grandchild. It is time to fill your lungs with life-giving air and become one of the sacred element. Expand your chest, take a moment and breathe deeply. In, out. Your breath is one with the breath of life. Have you noticed that your breathing occurs whether you think about it or not? This perfect breathing system keeps you alive on your earth walk and connects you with your spirit. Breathe. Focus your attention on the gentle in and out of your breath. How does it feel? Slow your breath down to the count of 5 for both an inhale and the exhale. Notice how the life breathes you. Notice how life breathes you. Give over to this gentle, balanced cycle. Receive the stillness of the sacred feminine as it emerges with every conscious breath. Can you feel the stillness fill your mind and body? Create space within your lungs and give gratitude for life. When you enter the sacred feminine space of stillness and gratitude, you open to life and remember your communion with creation.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm. What a beautiful card, too, to kind of sum up so many of the things that, we all talked about today. Of being able to be really present, of being conscious about bringing in the elements, of being able to really hold space for ourselves. And it's interesting, too, right? We talk about movement and stillness. So now there's so much balance here. It's like just, yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, they know what they're doing when they say.
They do.
Use this.
They always give us the right card. So, for sure. Liz, sorry, we're not doing card readings today. We're just pulling the cards for the collective. We're talking about maybe doing a show with that, but there's lots of comments here all of a sudden. You're very welcome. It was indeed good. Yeah, you don't need to hold on to guilt. It's not a healthy one to hold on to. Yes, that is true.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and sometimes that's really the movement that we need, right? Yep. Because when we breathe, it's that full body in breath and exhale, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I talk with my hands, so clearly my hands move at the same time.
I think you'll notice all of us, we both do. We both talk with our hands. I kind of do that too. I'm like, and sometimes I'm talking with my hands down here and you don't actually see it. You just see my shirt moving. And then I realize that looks a little funny and I stop.
Well, and actually between now and next time, because I think our next show is going to be in June. So we will have the June card reading.
Yes, that will be up
live.
That's right.
The first 6 cards, we do 3 each, I believe, on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then we'll have the full 22 on the membership page. So if you want the reading for June, that'll be in there, and that'll be good.
And it's free right now. So take advantage of that.
Pretty awesome.
Take advantage of that.
When we look at kind
You're
of
welcome.
the weekly weather when it comes to the astrology side of things, there's a really cool site that I subscribed to. So if you guys are interested, it's called Chani, Chani, I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, but I'll give you guys the weekly report from them because it's really cool. So today, 8:22 p.m. PT, so Pacific time, Mercury sextiles Saturn, which means that we are going to start to rethink about what's important in our lives. So what it says is ready, set, delete. Our editing instincts are on point right now. Reimagine where necessary. So if you're noticing that this energy is coming in and you're kind of going, I need to rethink this, or I need to redo this, like with Hypnicity being able to bring in some new understanding and release, right? Like we're in that energy right now, and it's a beautiful time to do that. The 29th, Mars is going to conjoin Chiron. So there might be a little bit of anger, frustration, things like that coming up. Don't let it take over. Let it guide you, right? Be curious about it. What wounds are being poked at, right? And what healing from inside needs to happen. The 30th, we're going to have, it says second guess flash assumptions and slow down hasty decisions. So this is kind of like bringing us back to what we were talking about last time with the transit that we were in. But now this Mercury conjoined Uranus is going to bring in some of that energy too. So notice if whatever's coming up for you around the 30th is something that you really need to act on, maybe give it a week and then see if it's still worth acting on or not.
Interesting.
On the 2nd, we're looking at wisdom coming in the form of buried treasure, it says. So probe beneath the surface and secrets will start to reveal themselves. So for me, it feels like that energy of, noticing what's happened through the week, right? I'm starting to readjust what's important. I'm being poked at a bit with this anger and I need to go a little bit deeper. Maybe I want to make some rash decisions around it. But come, the 2nd, we're looking at, okay, I'm digging a little bit deeper. And it's really a lot of the energy with this transit too, right? Of can I honor these secrets, these shadows, these things that are inside me so that I can break them open and bring out that mastery. Right? And that allows us to kind of become our own muse to move us forward in, whatever our next endeavor is meant to be.
Yeah. Awesome.
So I thought that there was some really interesting connections with that one to the transit that we're in. Especially in the unfolding of mastery and what that looks like in the way that the transits are going to move for us this time. So I wanted to share that with you guys. And if it's something that you guys like, I'll share it with you each week. I just,
awesome.
Yeah. But it really fit with our transit report this time too.
For sure. So Kaylee says you have a little something tonight.
Oh, yes.
What be going on?
So I am going to be on with Woo Woo Wonderment. And we're going to be talking a bit about human design, specifically about being projectors, because Kaylee and I are both projectors. So we're going to talk a bit about that energy and what it's like and how to navigate and all that kind of fun stuff.
Awesome. And what time is that at?
Remind me, I think it's 8. Pretty sure it's 8. I have to look at my calendar. Hold on. Let me scooch over to my calendar. Yeah, 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. Eastern.
Yes, okay. So join them 8 p.m. Eastern.
Mm-hmm.
Woo Wonderment.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So let's see. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing this week. I do have open mic. Yes, I have. Oh, no, I don't have open mic. Ooh, I need to look at that. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't have anything else going on. The rest is classes this week. It's a busy week with classes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have a lot going on. So we'll be back here next week, 5 o'clock.
And next week, okay, so next week, the 3rd, I'm going to be on with Gerald again at 2 Eastern. So we're going to do the next bit of authorities.
Yes.
So we'll talk about those just before Twillow. So I'll share that one too, since it won't be on with all of you specifically for this again until after that.
Awesome. That's great. So you'll see all of that come up. And we're going to wish you a wonderful week. We hope that you fare well with these transits that are happening and the weather, the solar weather, and the weather on Earth, depending on where you are.
Keep power. That's my only caveat for tonight. So
yeah, me too. I have a class to teach, so let's hope we keep power and everybody's still good with their power and all that stuff. So we're wishing you a wonderful week, and come join us again next week, 5 p.m. Eastern. See you soon, everyone. Lots of love.